When everything we consume is the worst thing ever by some mouth breather on the internet, how is anything truly the worst thing ever? Time for the only podcast to officially create a list of the worst movies ever made. The only one. For real. Worst movies ever.
Worst movies ever.
Welcome to another episode of Worst Movies Ever. This has been, as we were talking offline here a little bit, or off camera or whatever, however you want to put it. It's been probably 5-6 years since my guest, Mr. Andrew Shearer of Gonzoriffic Films, has joined me on a podcast. And I can't think of, and you expressed this a little bit ago, I can't think of a better movie for us to have come back together with than Scream Queen Hot Tub Party. Welcome in, bud. How you doing?
Thanks. For those who are listening and not watching the video, I'm holding up my DVD copy from Friddle and Ray's Retro Media of Scream Queen Hot Tub Party. I don't know that this has made its way to the Tubi or any of these other places.
As far as I know, I watched, my copy is the Retro Horror Remix Extended Edition.
Oh no! Well,
that I
what
watched.
am I missing?
I only think the difference is between the DVD and the Retro Horror Remix is just more clips.
Oh, from the movie? Okay, we'll
clips.
talk about that. Yeah, okay.
When I posted, and I've been doing this for a while now, where I'll do like a month preview of what I'm going to do on this podcast, and I'll post it to the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, Andrew? I already know the answer to this, but my listeners don't know the answer to this. What was it about Scream Queen Hot Tub Party that immediately made you say yes to coming on this episode?
Well, listen, man, I'm familiar with the show, and I know that, and you talk about it a lot, the fact that you are not here just to trash stuff. You actually have a genuine love for a lot of this, and so knowing that, because I would never be a party to that kind of a thing, I never have been. I was like, okay, well, I haven't been on Derek's podcast for a long time. Am I allowed to say your name?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
And you know, I absolutely love. I mean, this is my era. You know, these are my heroes for the most part in this movie. And I met Michelle Bauer in person for the first time ever in my life, and she was always my favorite of the three. She was the only one I'd never met, and I met her last year at FrankenCon in Tennessee. I drove 4 hours to meet Michelle Bauer.
Oh, the line was that long?
No, I drove for 4 hours.
Oh, you drove for 4 hours?
No, the line, you know, I had a whole plan. It took me 4 hours, you know, and I had the whole thing hatched of what I was going to do. And
yeah.
But you know what? As many people as I've met in my life, as many people as I've interviewed professionally, as many people that I'm actually can call my friend, I was so starstruck by Michelle, and I was shaking like a leaf. And the more that she could tell that I was nervous or just, you know, like fanning out, the tighter she held me. And I was like, you are not making this easier for me, lady. Because she looks exactly the same, and she throws all of that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, she puts that whole vibe that people expect. She's got that whole vibe. It was, you know, sometimes you meet someone famous, you're like, oh, they're short, or oh, they're old, or oh, they don't really look the way they looked in the movies that I was into. No, not here. Not now. No. Michelle was 100% like she walked right off the set of the movie.
That's so great, man. Like, I've obviously through the documentary I was a part of that highlighted the main three Scream Queens, I got to meet them all. I've never met Michelle Bauer in person.
Well, that's the thing. She's been elusive. Not to make this all about this, but, you know, Brink has been doing the convention circuit for decades. Same thing with Linnea, and I've met them on so many occasions that we know each other. And, you know, Linnea and I especially have spent a lot of time together. And so, but with Michelle, she wasn't ever a part of it, at least that I knew. And she's never done a convention in Atlanta.
No.
And you better believe when I saw that she was going to be a I mean, half that drive, dude, I was just floating on air. I don't even remember the drive. Next thing I know, I'm there and I'm walking in, and it's just like heart pounding. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm grown, dude. I was 47 then. I'm 48 now. I should not be this way, especially not in my line of work. And yet there I was. And so, I hadn't watched this movie in a long time, and I'm happy to come back to it.
That's great to hear. I also hadn't seen this in a long time, to the point that I totally forgot that this movie was a clip show. And
Same.
this is a conversation that when this movie came up, I remember turning it on for a little bit going, "Oh my God, I just went back in time."
Mhm. Yeah, this wasn't meant to be a good movie. It was meant to make money for them.
Absolutely. So that's a conversation that I want to have at some point on this episode. Maybe we can do that now. Is we talk a lot on this podcast about like, what is a bad movie? What is a good movie? Does it even fucking matter? Is it
Mm-mm.
what people talk about guilty pleasures, and I don't ever believe in guilty pleasures. I just believe in pleasures.
Yeah.
And uh if I've always been of the mind that if something brings you pleasure and enjoyment, then it's good.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't, then it's not for you, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like the joke of the title of this podcast is Worst Movies Ever, because when everybody says that everything's the worst thing ever, how can anything possibly ever be that?
Well,
Right?
what is good in that regard then, you know?
Yeah. So clip shows, I remember growing up seeing stuff like Terror in the Aisles,
Mhm.
right? Terror in
Yeah.
the Aisles was very much that, and Dan's Macabre, the book by Stephen King, were
Great.
very much gateway things to horror for me in
Mhm.
the 80s growing up. And the way that I see clip shows, there's how what you had just spoken towards, where it's, yes, this is a cheap and easy way to make money,
Mhm.
but and I was talking with my partner about this tonight, who was asking me what we were going to be recording, and I told her the movie, and I'm just like, this is going to be perfect for you if you want to watch it, because you've never seen any of these movies,
Mhm.
and this will be a great introduction to Slumber Party Massacre and Sorority House
Oh, yeah.
Massacre 2 and Evil Tunes and blah 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 blah, like all these movies. So I would love to hear what your thoughts are on, like, do you consider clip shows to be like its own thing? Is it nothing more than a promotional tool? Can you even say that they're movies? Like, how do you view something like this?
Well, it's definitely a movie. I mean, production went into it, you know, and it's got a running time. I'm not it's not a television show because it's not episodic,
Right.
and it's not a short because you don't have one story going all the way through it necessarily. And so yeah, it's what it is honestly kind of like what those things you talked about. It's a gateway, you know. What people listening to this need to know is that the clips that they show in Scream Queen Hot Tub Party, there are ones for movies that you just can't find. Like
Nope.
this is for particularly in the case of Hard to Die and Sorority House Massacre 2, can't get them. You know what I mean? I mean, these are out of print things. These are things that haven't made their way to streaming, at least not legitimately. And so this is your only way to see some of this stuff. But it's also framing these very talented actors that are involved in this clip show by showing their work. And that way, you know, people can become familiar with them that may not know who they are or what they've done.
In such a joyful way too.
Oh my God,
Like,
yeah.
this movie, and let's get right into this movie. Scream Queen Hot Tub Party, made in 1991 by pseudonymed Fred Olen Ray and Jim Wynorski.
Sure.
Obviously shot on video
Mhm.
in probably a weekend. With
I'd say a day.
you might be accurate.
I'd say a day on high 8.
The plot of this thing is our titular Scream Queens, Brink Stevens, Michelle Bauer, Kelly Maroney, Monique Gabrielle, Roxanne Kernahan, and Linnea Quigley, in air quotes, in film clips,
Mhm.
which is the most disappointing thing.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of people would see the box art or a small, you know, like order it on the in mail because you couldn't go rent this anywhere. This was a thing you bought, and this by design.
Yeah.
Had to order it. Kelly Maroney superficially resembles Linnea if you're seeing it really small. In between Brink and Michelle.
It really resembles her in a
Mhm.
lot of ways. All of these amazing ladies get invited to a house to present ways to teach people the art of being a scream queen. While they're doing this, in between showing off clips of their movies, they hold a seance in negligee, jump into a hot tub that's barely big enough to hold them all. Then we watch endless clips from their movies they are in and watch them wash each other in the hot tub at the end of the movie like Nightmare Sisters.
Yeah.
This is Scream Queen Hot Tub Party. The verdict for me, and I'll ask you, I mean, it's going to be the same, I'm sure, for both of us, is that this is just about the easiest hour of brainless fun you're going to possibly ever watch.
Yes.
If you're into these types of movies, this will feel at home, and a good thing to put on for a party and for people that are open to this kind of entertainment. Of course, this isn't going on the list of the worst movies ever. This is honestly, as you had kind of told me off air, you had listened to the 1313 Cougar Cult episode. I'm going to be kind of expressing a lot of the similar sentiment with this, is that even though, is this a traditionally what most people would consider a great movie? Of course not. But this is so like fun in a very effortless way. And you get to see, you're seeing a bunch of shit that lives elsewhere, but you get to see these beautiful women being super silly, being badasses, and then you get to watch clips of Slumber Party Massacre, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, Critters 2, Nightmare Sisters, Transylvania Twist, Evil Tunes, Hard to Die, Sorority House Massacre, and Slumber Party Massacre. And honestly, Andrew, I'm sure you feel the same way. Like, I could watch this every day and I wouldn't be mad about it. Like, where do
No,
you come out on this?
it's so short, dude. Like the amount of clips, this thing runs 50 minutes ish, and the amount of clips is pretty much half of it, maybe even more than half of
I
it.
would say 3/4 of it.
Yeah, so like, and it leaves you wanting to see these women's movies. And there was a period of time when you and I were younger where these things are looked down upon, and these women are looked down upon, and it's just seen as this raunchy crap,
Yeah.
and just kind of navel gazing, bottom feeder stuff. But I make movies here in Athens, and a great portion of the people who are in my films come from burlesque. They come from roller derby. And a lot of them are in their early 20s or early 30s, and they don't have those thoughts about these women. These women, what they're doing in these movies, and just the fact that they exist, being a scream queen and all this from that era, they're like revered. They're the coolest of the cool to this generation of folks. And so I put this on for them, and they would absolutely worship it.
Of course, you could look at it. It's a very male-gazing movie, obviously, in a lot of ways. But in no way do any of these women play it that way.
No, and that's the difference between watching, say, something from the Playboy Channel and watching this. Fred and Jim, for all their kind of brashness and all their kind of upfront, especially Fred, if you've ever, he and I definitely met face to face. He signed my fake chainsaw. They,
How did that go?
Well, it was fine, but
Yeah.
Fred, he was always the one who appeared very kind of reserved or nice in most of his interviews back in the day, and Jim was the one that was seen sort of as more of a Hollywood blowhard. But it's actually the opposite. Jim is like, as a person behind the scenes, is actually really nice and really go with the flow, and Fred is like, tell it like it is, you let a few 4-letter words fly type of fellow, and they make no bones about why they were doing this,
or what they were making in any way.
But with any art, over time, it has different lives, and you find out maybe it's not the same a thing that they made anymore. Maybe it belongs to someone else, and it's time for someone else to appreciate. And I think these women are now, I think, have a lot of respect, and as such, this product is like, on the one hand, you could see what a dream it would have been when it came out for guys that are watching these movies. And I say guys because that's who these were made for.
Of course.
They're watching these things and they're going like, oh, not only am I getting like all the scene, because they fast forward through the actual movies just to watch the nude scenes. And so they're getting this hot tub stuff and this lingerie and these bikinis, and each one gets their individual, like, brand new footage of more nudity than you've seen before, and in some cases, like, more nudity than that actor had ever done by a long shot. And
Sure.
so,
Kelly Maroney.
oh my god, how wild! Yeah, and so did the actors think that a lot of people were going to see this? No, they got paid and they got percentages of the profits. They were
Yeah.
all in on this, you know. But yeah, now it's I got to tell you, the whole view and viewership for this stuff has really changed.
The way that it's out in the world and is, people have discovered it has
Mm.
also changed.
It makes it
Because
more special because of that.
yeah, well, absolutely, right? Like, I remember back in the day, this stuff used to reside on the top shelf at the
Yeah.
video stores, right? Like, you
Mhm.
would go there, and that was always designated for the Skinamax, Red Shoe Diaries, softcore
Yeah.
stuff. And now this stuff is just looked at as B movies.
Yeah, from all that stuff, and if you've watched a lot of Jim and Fred's movies, you know that they kind of have this kind of dorky sensibility that goes all the way through, and is definitely all through this. When someone takes their top off, it has a cartoon noise, boing, you know.
Yep.
So that's kind of what's so endearing to me about it now. I I'm 48. I'm going to be fast forwarding through the soap and the fake sex and all this other stuff to watch them act, because I
Yeah.
happen to just really love what they do, you know?
Yeah. Having said that, as having listened to this podcast before, the structure of this, let's
Mhm.
let's get to the good, the bads, and the what the fucks of Scream Queen Hot Tub Party.
What is good?
So the first good that I have of this is, as we had just said, you get to sit back and watch the ladies show off cut downs of their movies. And in between those cut downs, which honestly I kind of loved, like,
Mhm.
especially Slumber Party Massacre, we get a lot of time with Slumber Party Massacre, and
Yeah.
they're pretty decent cut downs.
Mhm.
So it's for those of you out there that aren't familiar with some of these movies I listed off, this is a great way to get introduced to these things. But the creme de la creme of this movie are the interstitial stuff in which the ladies get to highlight their specialty
Mhm.
and teach you about what they do in these movies. And let me tell you, Brink Stevens takes the cake for me in this movie, and showing off the art of taking a movie shower.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
so
something.
good.
Oh my God, this has been a conversation I've had with so many people anytime they sit and watch one of these movies. Like, anytime I've ever watched Sorority House Massacre 2 with anyone, and I've watched it a lot.
It's so good. Like, my money would separate from me so hard if someone were to announce tomorrow Sorority House Massacre 2 and Hard to Die on a Blu-ray or anything.
It's got to be roped up in rights issues, right?
And gosh, think of all I'm sorry, I could go off on a whole thing off on that, but those two movies are seriously good.
Hard to Die. The fact that Hard to Die is
The
sitting on
remake.
a shelf somewhere, and an absolute remake of Sorority House Massacre 2,
Right? And
even more
brilliant.
ridiculous with more guns.
Oh my god, it's to a disturbing level. I was, like, reminded by that when watching the clips, because there's you would think all this is, like, their nude scenes and stuff, but for Hard to Die, you're seeing just squib to the max of all the gunplay. There's, like, no nudity in that part. They're in lingerie, but oh my god,
Oh, it just like that movie in particular. The thing that whenever I watch that movie, I'm reminded of UHF, of the Rambo sequence in UHF, where they're standing right next to each other shooting
Ah!
machine guns, because that happens so often in Hard to Die that
Mhm.
it makes me laugh so hard. But anyways, this scene with Brink, I have the conversation with anybody that sits and watches Sorority House Massacre 2 with me about, like, what is the point of all these soapless titty showers throughout this movie? And why would anyone sit and, like, have to wash their boobs so much? And this scene made me laugh so fucking much. Was there one of the interstitials in particular that you enjoyed more than the others?
With Brink having the voiceover and everything, it's just like tailor-made for her, and it's
Hmm.
tailor-made for the audience for these things. And I love anytime these actors get to poke fun at what they do because
Yeah.
they're all smart people, especially Brink. If you look up, Brink was on a career in the field of science before stepping into the modeling and movie world. So they're in on it, and of course, again, they had percentages of the profits from this thing. Everybody made out, but I think my favorite is Roxanne Kernahan's thing with Jim playing the monster under the floor of Fred's house, and the reason why is because Roxanne Kernahan had the shortest career out of all of these people.
Yeah.
She only made 2 movies before she tragically died in a car accident. And so this was the last film that she made. And she was in Critters 2 and had a minor role in something else either before or after that. But the
Yeah. I
one that
forget what it
people will
was.
know is Critters 2.
Yeah.
I want to say it was a sword and sorcery thing, but maybe not. But the fact that she was included in this, oh my god, it seems like pure chance almost. She was right place, right time, you know? And we think about some of the other cult film actors, women who were in 1 or 2 roles and died. I'm thinking about Gatorbait in particular, those movies,
Yeah.
and people like Rainbow Smith. Just people who that they didn't fade away, they didn't disappear. They really just sort of made their mark in cult cinema and then were gone. The fact that Roxanne Kernahan is in this, and it's definitely more nudity than she ever had in any of her other roles, and probably more screen time, honestly, than she ever got. When I watch it, I'm just so happy that this dumb movie, this for profit thing, happened to be what her. I mean, it's Critters 2 is probably her legacy,
Yeah.
but for
Absolutely.
but for people that wanna see more of her in every way you can imagine, but mostly in just sort of her range as an actor, she's so funny in this.
Yes, she
She's
is.
so in on it. She so understood the assignment, as the kids say, kinda like Paris Hilton in House of Wax, the only person that knows what movie they're in, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But, in this case, they're all in on it, and how great it was just to see her included, because under normal circumstances, that would have been someone else that had way more credits. It's just kind of amazing to me, and that scene is just wonderful.
I have to absolutely agree with you. Like Roxanne Kernahan, when she pops up, she plays the ditziest one
Mhm.
of anyone in this movie. And then when Critters 2 pops up on screen, which how the fuck did they get rights?
I don't know. That was a stumbling block for this movie a lot of times because there was like, you for Kelly Maroney, you want us to deny the comment, they can't.
Yeah. Well, that's it. The version that I have that I told you, the retro horror remix, they
Mhm.
did.
Okay.
Like in the extended edition, they have the clips of the movies in there. So
I need
that's
to get this.
purely an internet thing, folks. So if you want to seek out the retro horror remix version, if you can, but obviously go buy this, it's 100% worth it. But yeah, Roxanne Kernahan's scene is uh, one of the probably production wise the most extensive thing in this movie, right? The scene with the zombie that comes out of the ground and then grabs her and all this shit.
Yeah, and it's just Jim in the costume and under Fred's floorboards. And why would Fred do it? He doesn't want to get all like hot and sweaty down there. Make Jim do it. But like the other ones are just, well, they Michelle's doing her chainsaw dance, which I could watch that on a loop for the rest of my life.
Yep.
Brink's in the shower. You got Kelly on the weight set. Monique Gabrielle, she's doing the classic Skinamax stuff. So Roxanne is doing a classic B movie thing, and
Yeah.
it's not just showing like a lot of different things she can do in this movie, but it's also showing like Jim and Fred's roots as monster kids.
The one that shocked me the most, obviously, was the Kelly Maroney one
Yeah.
because she's not necessarily well known for being the topless maiden in
Mm-mm.
any of the stuff, and for the entire scene to be just her topless working out was a little shocking the
Yeah.
first time, and rewatching it because I hadn't seen it in so long, it really kind of had my jaw drop like, oh my god.
Yeah, because she's got some lotion that she's rubbing herself down with to make her give her a little shine at the first part
Yeah.
of it, and there's extreme close-ups on her anatomy. And yeah, Kelly wasn't in the kind of movies that would have all this nudity. She was in like bigger shows. Night of the Comet is a very popular '80s movie.
Yeah, and she never, because I met Kelly Maroney once when we did a convention with Linnea Quigley for the
Mhm.
documentary, and nobody really knows her for this kind of stuff. All of these people that are in this movie, absolutely wonderful individuals,
Yeah.
super lighthearted, kind individuals
Mhm.
that didn't get jaded by this stuff in any way. So it's wonderful to see them, and that's like my next good is that just how lighthearted this entire thing is when a lot of similar styles of movies, and I think that it has to take, like, you got to point in the direction of Fred Olen Ray and Jim Wynorski for the
Mhm.
tone of this movie, that they knew what this was, and this is what separates their body of work from the vast majority of other directors that were exploiting these girls just because they were willing to get naked. And
Yeah.
this movie absolutely, while it is exploiting the fact they're willing to do this, it's definitely not the primary like motivating factor as to the enjoyment of this movie
Yeah,
in any
and
way.
there's absolutely nothing wrong with the human body as one of the cheapest special effects in movies. It will always have the power to shock and entertain, and they know that. And you can also tell that they have agency by how many times these folks appeared in other movies by these guys.
Another good of this is it doesn't take itself seriously. As I said before, you had said comedy sound effects are
Mm,
constantly going off over every stupid little thing that they do.
yeah.
The movie's extremely self-aware, and personally, and I know I seem to be running myself in circles with this, but it's just like I cannot imagine a movie that could be easier for anybody to sit down and watch than this movie. It's such a fluff piece, but even having said that, of course, with Fred Olen Ray and Jim Wynorski at the helm, it's edited and shot well. All of the actresses are extremely charming and playing it up to 11. In the script, even though I'm sure some of it was ad libbed, is extremely fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and they make fun of. I mean, they say, "What does the script say?" And they've got it in the hot tub. The script is in the hot tub. They pull it out. Oh no, the ink's run. So good,
That shit made
so
me laugh
good.
so hard.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of, movies like Sorority House Massacre 2 or Hard to Die, for example, you get to see them presented in open mat because, this movie is in 4:3 for TV screens.
Yeah,
So these movies were shot for, what I would guess, 185, and so, yeah, it's some of those shots, you can definitely see things that weren't meant to be, filmed or at least
yeah,
presented on screen. So,
yeah.
but also, boom mics are in the shot in this movie, and that's absolutely fine. I mean, it goes along with the self-reverential stuff. I had a wonderful time putting this movie on, and I want to say thank you for being sort of the catalyst for that.
Oh, you're welcome, man. I mean, the best thing this week of my week when I watched this was, and this is going to be my last good, and then I'll open the floor to you, Andrew, if there was anything else you wanted to highlight about this movie. Was there were a few lines of dialogue in this movie that made me laugh so hard. Like the one line, "You gonna have a seance without nighties?" Because there's a point where everybody, they go to this place, and obviously it's the place that they shot out Sorority House Massacre 2, where like the exterior is the exterior that they used in Sorority House Massacre 2, and they're gonna have, of course, a fucking seance, and then they gotta order fucking nighties, and the nighties show up. You gonna have a seance without nighties?
Yeah. It's great, and, for those of you who are fans of, my friend Enrique Couto's movie, Babysitter Massacre, which is definitely done from the point of view of a fan who loves
Yeah.
Swordie House Massacre 2, Hard to Die, Slumber Party Massacre, all of those. There's a scene in it where, and I'm not giving anything away here, a box of nighties shows up on the doorstep of the main
Hard to
character.
Die. Remember that?
Mhm. No, I have nothing more to add. I mean, I could spend the next 30 minutes doing that, but I won't.
Yeah, there's so much in this that made me smile. That I mean, this entire episode, I have very little to say after this point. about anything bad or any what the fucks, because we've already discussed my only what the fuck. We might as well skip it. Like, my only what the fuck is that this is just a clip show, and let's have a discussion about clip shows. And we've already fucking done that, so we don't even need to do that
Yeah, but
section.
it is also because it's a clip show. I feel this movie's kind of a ripoff. If I were to have ordered it as a fan of them, especially if I would have ordered it as someone who really wanted to see like these women in new footage, I would have felt ripped off.
Yeah. And let's go ahead and let's get into the bads.
What is bad?
And that's probably the biggest bad, right? Is that if you were sold that this movie was going to be a traditional all new content movie, and then you get this and it's essentially 3/4 of it is already films you own and they're on your shelf, it is a bit of a ripoff. And you know that these movies, some of these that were exclusive to like just mail order anyway, were sold at a premium.
They
Right.
were
They weren't cheap movies.
Mm-mm.
So that is probably the biggest bad. And that really doesn't even have anything to do with the movie. It's the principle of the matter, right?
Well, yeah, but the people that made this, I mean, I feel as though they had to have known they were ripping people off. They did. Because you look at the cover of this movie and you go like, okay, I'll be getting that. You don't. What happens? What is on the cover of this movie? Doesn't actually happen in the movie.
Nope.
And that sucks because it's got a photo of all of the actors that are involved in the movie. And yet, no, that doesn't happen.
So I guess the listeners, the only thing that's going to deter you away from this is if you don't really give a fuck about watching a clip show. That's like the only bad thing that I can even bring up about this, because even the male gazy kind of sleaze aspect of the movie, where a lot of the female nudity is its currency for the most part, is played in such a lighthearted way that it passes the Bechdel test, but also passes the Mr. Skin test. So it's like, I mean, you can't get really super. I could see how some people could probably get offended by this, but it's so lighthearted about everything that I can't really consider. I mean, if we want to have a discussion about that, Andrew, if there's anything you see as problematic about that, we absolutely can. But I don't.
No,
Really
and
see
I
that.
would be a fool to go into that because this is a product of its time.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely it's tailor made for the fan base of these actors and the people who were watching them back then. My point, and I don't want to harp on it because we kind of did. It's just that at 49 minutes, considering that you say estimate 3/4 of it are clips,
Yeah.
what you're left with is so little. It's just like, could you not have filmed a little bit more? Could you not have like extended some of this stuff? I don't know anyone who would have ponied up what they wanted for this tape that wouldn't have gone, yeah, extra 5 minutes of just soap on a butt. Do you know what I mean?
That's saying something, because the whole end of the movie is a bunch of women in a
And
hot
it
tub
says the
soaping each
end.
other
And you
up.
know how many movies I've ended with the end on somebody's butt? A lot.
Yeah.
Because of this. Yeah, we've got one in our show this year and we had one last year that ended up butt with the end. It's great, and that's not my point. What is done was done extremely well, and I am through and through to this day satisfied with it. I'm just saying, I will always be disappointed that there wasn't more. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that I didn't back in the day shell out the money for this. I never saw it until Fred did the retro media edition, and I got to see this DVD. I'd never seen it before, and I'm glad, because I would have been, especially a kid, saving up your money. You know how that was.
Oh, absolutely. Because a lot of these movies were sold in like the magazines, right? Or like you had to see the ads in the back of the magazines for retro media, right?
Yeah. Well, that I can't remember. I'm thinking more back to the days of when Linnea Quigley's Horror Workout came out.
Yeah, totally.
You had to order it through the mail. What year was this? Was this the retro media edition?
1991. When this movie came out, but I don't think that edition came out till much later.
This is 2004, special edition, copyright 2004. So this was the heyday of Blu-ray and the heyday of Seduction Cinema.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff was available to home market. And so, no, I may have bought this at Borders Bookstore or Best Buy.
That's funny. A lot of
Probably
times
not.
I only ever saw them at conventions, right?
No,
Where if one of the ladies would have been at the convention at their table, you could buy those.
No, I take that back. I bought another Retro Media disc, and the catalog was inside. I bought Scream Queen Hot Tub Party, and when it came in the mail, I was automatically subscribed to Fred's mailing list. And not too long after, I received a manila envelope. You're going to love this. In the mail, it had a black and white 8x10 autograph of his wife with just no panties on.
Oh my God.
And I'd been married a few years, and at that point, and I set it on the coffee table. My wife is like, "Who is Miss Kim?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I think it might be Fred Olen Rey's wife." Of course, she's married to me. She knows exactly who Fred Olen Rey is. But the fact that it was just bottomless.
That's fucking, well, like, how random.
You're telling me I'm the one who got this in the mail. Like, oh, what is this? Retro Media, cool. It's
oh my God, dude.
She's great. I will say though, and this is something that as a result of this I've remembered, the director commentary. Have you heard it?
I have not.
Okay. So in the audio commentary, which I also watched, why? Because I had a whole extra 45 minutes on my hands.
Yeah, why not, right? You planned on watching a full movie. You got half of one.
At least we got some bonus features now. The tape probably didn't have anything. This also has 1 Million Heels BC on it, which is about a half an hour.
That's awesome.
But it has a full, you open the disc and here's somebody's entire... Anyway, won't put that on video. So... Fred at one point, and I had this happen to me when I was listening to the audio commentaries for the Vice Academy movies. And Fred, bless him, he is one to speak his mind and just pop off with things. And at one point he says, Brink Stevens, no matter how old she's gotten, she's had the exact same body. She looks exactly the same. And the same can't be said from some other women. And I was just like, Fred... That really sucks what you just said, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I happen to be of the opinion that, I've seen that, I do know that Monique Gabrielle did do at least one XXX movie homemade. And it was not like keep it in the house kind of a movie. It was a produced lighting, everything. You know what I mean? It was made for the XXX market. But, Roxanne, she didn't live too much longer. And Michelle looks incredible,
insane,
and I can only imagine. But who cares if they don't?
That's age, that's life, that's just what
exactly
happens.
But he thinks in between 91 and 04 somebody let themselves go, and he may not be talking about someone in the movie. But I was just like, Fred, let's talk about how let's talk about your body, should we?
It's such like anybody that dives into that game, it's such a hypocritical spiral that there's
and Rick Sloan, I should mention also in one of the Vice Academy, and maybe more than one point in the Vice Academy commentaries, is making like fat jokes.
Gross.
Sometimes what you think about the people that made these things is 100% accurate.
True. Yeah, it's absolutely true. Yeah.
So that goes along with the bad, I would say. Well, and now that here it is, 20 years after this disc was made, he may be like, yo, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, who of us hasn't said something in the past that we're deeply like, and that we hopefully have like learned from and gotten better about?
Oh, definitely.
Right?
In 2004, oh my gosh, the year before that, I made a movie called Hero Cookie, and Hero Cookie is definitely got some things that would be considered transphobic in them. And that same year I made a movie called Kill the Movie, and that has some like homophobic language. And so no, please don't hold me to that stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's only just to mention when we're talking about this release and talking about the movie in general and the people that made it and the people that in it. I did, just want to mention that. But I had to tell someone and break their heart not too long ago that Rhonda Shear is a Trumpette. She's on this group of Trump women, and they're like, oh, I said, I'm sorry, but some of them gone that way. Caroline Williams also.
Yeah,
So
who is I'm trying to think of isn't Elizabeth Keitain also a big Trumper and right winger as well?
I don't know, but I do know Antonia Dorian may have gone that way as well, and hopefully not Griffin Drew, because I always had a soft spot for Griffin. She's from Georgia.
Yeah.
And then poor Nikki Fritz, she passed.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's going real nerd with it, but still, that's just some of the things I would say would fall under the bad category. But this is most of what people have heard on this episode is a glowing, ringing endorsement for both of us, and I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you did, and I'm glad you came on for this. And I mean, I think to round that conversation up, there's a lot of people out there that always tell you, don't meet your heroes. They're never going to live up to what you think they are. But hey, let's be real. People are people, and these people that we've been watching in all these movies for years upon years upon years aren't perfect. They're fallible. We all are. So, you could probably find something bad about just about any person on the face of the planet, because hopefully those of us out there to kind of reiterate something I had said before, that we learn as we walk one foot in front of the other and have gotten better, even though, not to get super political, it doesn't appear that way right now in our country. It seems to be getting worse and worse and worse all the time. But I hope it's very aware and very apparent in this podcast that I do not endorse hatred, bigotry, racism, or just anti-humanism in any way.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully, you just got to cross your fingers, and that this is a whole thing, and this is a wild side tangent, but let's go.
It's your show, man.
Rock yeah, it. I'm gonna fucking do it anyways.
Do it.
I'm a huge metal fan. I have been since I was young, and I've liked extreme metal for ever. And one of the worst aspects about that, especially when you get into extreme metal, is black metal from Scandinavia. I have to now, whenever any band comes up, I have to go to an anti-fascist website to make sure they're not a total piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that's we could go down such a rabbit hole with that conversation with just about anybody that's in front of a camera, anybody that makes music, anybody that writes a book, anybody that's an artist. So, is what it is, man.
I'm the same way, man. I came up in the golden age of hip hop, and I listen back to, I can't for the, my station, my oldest station is called Rock the Bells. It's on XM Radio, and it's classic hip hop, presented by LL Cool J.
Nice.
I won't lie.
Nice.
I sit there and listen to it just when I'm in the car, and it's like I know the lyrics to almost every other song. But the thing is, you find yourself saying those things, and you're like, my God, how misogynist it was, how homophobic it was, and so no, it's not all great, but going forward where we are now, we can make the choice ourselves to do that stuff or not. And, I am past the point of being called an ally. I consider myself an accessory because most of the people that are involved in the art that I make are queer folks or some color of the rainbow, and I've always been a feminist filmmaker from the jump. And so, I want nothing to do with any of that trash, and I never have, and nobody will confuse me with any of that stuff either.
I absolutely have always been a fan, Andrew, and I'm glad there are people out there like you putting out the good work, my man.
My main thing was I was like, do I want a career in filmmaking, or do I want to make my own art? And I decided that I wanted to make my own stuff. I don't want to be treated like garbage, making someone else's dream come true. P.S. Dream comes true. There's my Michelle Bauer autograph and my copy of Invasion of the Bee Girls by Jules Shepard. If this video ends up being used, I'm showing it on the channel there.
That's fucking awesome.
But the inside story to that is that I brought Michelle a copy of my book, Everybody's, which is available on Amazon, and it's my book of nude photography and interviews with the women that I photographed. And I brought it to her, and I just said, I want you to have this. It's my book. And she was so like taken aback by it that she came back and had me sign it to her. And this other woman that was there with her was a photographer too, and just gushed about. And they apparently had been telling, because they did a panel, they did a Nightmare Sisters reunion panel, Freaking Con 2024 in Knoxville, Tennessee. And then the next thing I know, they're all coming up to me talking about how much they love the book. And so there's a direct line between my respect for these women and their work, seriously, and the fact that they were my rock stars. I had posters of them in my locker and got a lot of odd looks for it too, and I loved that so much. But they are a direct, what I do now is a direct result of their influence.
With that same thought, Andrew, let me get something for you. This is something that's pretty special to me. Those of you out there that are familiar with what I've done in the past know that I was a part of a documentary a number of years ago called
I got
Screaming
my copy
High
in the
Heels.
next room. I know what this is going to be.
Thank you, brother. That I was a part of, that highlights Brink, Michelle, and Linnea. And when it was all said and done, I kind of became more had more of a face than most editors do with this thing, and I traveled around with it to conventions and showed it and stuff like that. And the director, Jason Paul Collum, one time they had kind of like a reunion / screening of it at Dark Delicacies in LA. And
it's closed.
Yeah, and he, behind my back, without me knowing, went and had everybody sign this one sheet for me, in which they all sat and wrote some stuff. So everybody that was involved in this movie wrote something to me, and this is like one of my favorite, most cherished things that I have, because
oh my God, I'd be buried with that, dude.
I mean, never in my wildest imaginations did I think, when I was young, watching Night of the Demons or Return of the Living Dead or Haunting Fear or any of this stuff, would I have a poster that written by Linnea Quigley saying to Derek, "I love the way you cut me, stud." And
it's so her. Yeah. And the reality is Linnea's the same age as my mom. They have the same sense of humor. They're like two peas in a pod. It's amazing that I've never discovered that they are actually sisters or something, because they're so similar. And so my relationship with the material over time just changed so much. And to think about, regardless of the intention of this stuff,
absolutely,
may have been for, as it turns out, I just love that through this show, through the documentary, and just through people like us who are keeping that flame burning for these folks, that they have received their due. Cult fame doesn't bring lots of dollars, but they'll love you forever. And I have to say, I love them forever.
Yeah, me too. And they couldn't be better people to have this brought to them, and they deserve it all, because in my experience with them, they are some of the most kind-hearted, sweet individuals that in any of this stuff that I've ever met. And very welcoming, and I will always trumpet them in any way that I possibly can. Even, and I said this in the 1313 Cougar Cult episode, even though these movies aren't traditionally considered good movies, right? And they're considered kind of trash cinema. I personally, trash cinema is my home. Oh, yeah. And I know the same is for you, Andrew.
Yeah. So, I don't care what other people think of it. It's special to me. It was never easy to get. It was always a thrill to finally have it. And it's not unlike being into some, indie band or something like that. You run across it and you're just like, it's more special to you because not a lot of people have heard of it. My kid now is 12 years old, and I'm like, hey, you want to watch this K-pop Demon Hunters thing? No, it's too popular. I'm like, what have did I raise you
Poser.
to be like this? Yeah, she's used the word poser, and I'm just like, okay, damn. Of course, I'm gonna watch it because I thought it was great, but
Yeah, it
whatever.
was cool. Hey,
Yeah,
we've reached that age, man. We're too old.
I
My
guess.
kids think the same thing, man.
Do you know what I have on repeat? The new Mariah Carey. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh
I've been
man,
listening
hey,
to that over and
like I said at the beginning of the episode, man, there are no guilty pleasures.
over.
There are only pleasures. Nobody gives a shit. We get one turn around this fucking planet and on this
Mhm.
rock. Enjoy it.
I was gonna say that's the. I enjoyed not only rewatching this, but I enjoyed talking with you about it.
Always, always, brother. Let's do this again sooner than 6 years.
Okay, bet.
Is there anything to round this out? I know this podcast isn't the same as Astro Radio Z, where
Mhm.
we, it's a much more intimate kind of thing. Do you wanna promote anything to round this out?
Gonzoriffic is having its 17th annual underground movie show where we show all the movies that we've made over the course of the year, just my friends and I. But if you're a fan of the Scream Queen stuff, I mean, this is informed by all of that. We will have a YouTube live stream on Sunday, November the 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Gonzoriffic, Gonzoriffic YouTube channel, and you'll get to watch them all. You can sit and watch them with us. You can chat with the people if you want to that made the movies and stuff. I also have a movie called 119.mp4 that's on Tubi right now. And if you're a fan of the old Gonzoriffic stuff, I've uploaded a lot of it to the YouTube channel. A lot of the short films, up through stuff like Zombikini that we made just a couple of years ago. And you can always, of course, buy the DVD mixtapes at gonzoriffic.com.
I encourage every last person. I know, just coming from my own personal library, I have quite an extensive Gonzoriffic collection. I am thoroughly looking forward to whatever you drop next. Or if are you going to continue dropping DVDs, or are you kind of
Oh
getting to the
yeah.
point you
Oh
don't want to
god.
do it anymore?
Oh no. There's the collectors are serious because we do we now make money off of we vend at conventions and stuff now.
Nice.
And just like spooky events around town, and we got regular customers every time I put out a DVD mixtape. There's people that always are good for them, and beyond that, I have to say, Space Boobs in Space, the streaming, the money I get $200 a month for that still, just based on the few streaming channels that still are brave enough to have it. It's on there. It's on Zumo, I know, which comes with like Sharp or Panasonic or some brand of TV comes with Zumo on it, which is like the knockoff Roku. But it's there, and I get paid.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, put the word boobs in your movie title, by the way. That's just
It's a
pennies,
license to print money, baby.
pieces of pennies will fall into your
Fractions of
Fractions
copper will drop.
of fractions of coins, chopped up little bits of the 1 cent it'll just rain.
That is the American dream, baby. The American dream.
I was gonna say I'm not complaining. It's actually great. Those who are listening that may have heard of Space Boobs in Space. I've already told Derek that should it come up on the Plex Shuffle, I'm happy to come here and talk about the movie that got me the absolute worst reviews of my entire everything that I've made. It's like a one star on IMDb, and there's so many votes. It's like, yo,
Dude, everybody gets let's not even you know what, letterboxed in imdb.com people, and that's kind of what some of the reason I even do this podcast, to be honest, is that there's got to be some sort of counterbalance to like the nonstop just clout chasing to shit on what's considered bad movies.
yeah, it's like nobody realizes that the internet, for the most part now, not like it used to be, where my old review sites and even old podcasts I did are just completely gone. There's no evidence of them, thank goodness, in a lot of cases. But right now, like everything, who you are, like, is that who you want to be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that really what I mean? think about the long game, man. Zoom out, as my therapist says. Look at the big
Yeah.
picture. Is that who you are? Is that how
Yeah.
you act? You know, have some dignity, dude.
I really like fought myself on why I would even title this worst movies ever. But I'm too much of an old school huckster and we grew up in the era of like put the most audacious title on something and hook people in,
Yeah.
and then I guess it's a bait and switch, because guess what? Nothing's the worst movie ever.
But you know what, homie? You putting the term Scream Queen Hot Tub Party back out into the internet. And there couldn't possibly be enough things, especially that are going to talk about it in such a reverent tone. So, be proud of what you did, man. I certainly am proud of having been a part of it.
Well, I'm glad. The next movie we're going to be doing, folks, here on the podcast is going to be, and I warned you guys I was going to do this on a previous episode. We're going to be diving into to-be original cinema, where a lot, and I mean a lot, of trash cinema is going towards now. And sometimes you find some absolute gems in that stuff.
Oh my gosh. R.L. Stein's Pumpkinhead?
Yeah, totally, dude.
So good.
The movie we're going to be talking about, and it's probably just going to be me, but the movie we're going to be talking about is the Michael Jai White film, Don't Mess with Grandma. That's going to be next here on Worst Movies Ever, episode
I love
16.
him.
Oh, me too, dude. I've been seeing so many Michael Jai White clips coming online because, man, everyone's wanting him to talk shit about other like kickboxers and fighters, and he's biting.
Come on,
he's
man.
biting in all the interviews.
Black Dynamite, Outlaw Johnny Black, Hitman.
That's what we're going to be doing next time. Andrew, as always, thank you for coming here, brother.
Yo, it was good to get the band back together.
All right, guys, take care. I'll see you next week.
Worst Movies Ever podcast is executive produced by Vaughan Koolmeyer and Shannon Smith. For more Worst Movies Ever, and to make the Doctor watch your worst movies ever, subscribe to the Worst Movies Ever Patreon at patreon.com/Worst Movies Ever. There you will get a monthly exclusive WME podcast plucked from the user-generated film list, randomized episode to episode. Until next time, celebrate trash at all costs. Toodles.